morning and welcome to L.O.T.U.S. L.O.T.U.S, linking others to unify Shrinum. If this is your first time tuning in, L.O.T.U.S is live and is interactive. The L.O.T.U.S was designed to connect the members in our organization to its leaders, up close and personal. No fezzes, no collars, just candid conversation. We will also be spotlighting extraordinary nobles and daughters across the domain that are doing awesome things in their everyday life. I am your co-host, daughter Jacque in Netherland, aka Powder Puff the Clown. I am out of Moolah Court number 22, Oasis of Memphis, Desert of Tennessee. The Oasis of Memphis is also the home of our Imperial headquarters, and we're under the direction of the 44th Imperial Potentate, John T. Chapman, and the 48th Imperial Commanderess, daughter Jacqueline Brown Arredondo. If you would like for the L.O.T.U.S show to market your events, please send in your temple or court's ball flyer, community service flyer, or fundraiser flyer, and we will be happy to market that for you. Please send it in to PR@aeaonms.org. Again, that's PR@aeaonms.org. Today's episode is being brought to you by the 2021 128th Imperial Session. This year's session will be in person and in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have not registered, there is still time to do so. For the latest information about session, please tune in to the Prince Hall Shriners Facebook page. Remember, L.O.T.U.S is live and we want to hear from you. So drop those questions in the chat pane for our guests. Today's episode is a membership spotlight. Today we will be spotlighting Noble Robert Porter, aka Dr. Porter. He is out of Medinah Temple number 39. He's out of the Oasis of St. Louis, Desert of Missouri. He's from the Show Me State, y'all. Dr. Porter is a clinical psychologist, therapist, and his mission is to bring healing to African American people and people of all kinds with healing. So this is going to be a very interesting show. So please stay tuned in. And now, Dr. Porter, come on down.
Good morning.
Dr. Porter, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be on the L.O.T.U.S show.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell the L.O.T.U.S audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dr. Robert Porter. I have 2 earned doctorates, one in theology, one in clinical psychology. I'm currently unmarried, not married. I have 2 daughters. One is 22, one is 21. One goes to Clark Atlanta University. The other one goes to University of Georgia. One is pursuing her journalism degree. The other one is striving to be an attorney and eventually a judge. And I'm out of Medinah Temple 39, Oasis of St. Louis, Desert of Missouri.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that brief bio. So you are a clinical psychologist, therapist. How does your passion inspire you to share your talents with your community and beyond?
Well, it's the driving force behind everything that I do, because my whole passion is about people and helping people, because we're hurting in so many different ways. And so every day that God allows me to see another day, it's important to me to be an asset to helping people to be the best version of themselves, to help families to heal, to help people to heal, because we have gone through so many different types of traumas in our lives. And so it's very important to me that every day that I have an opportunity to help a child, to help a father, to help a mother, to help a man, to help a woman, if I get that opportunity, it's important for me to be able to help them to be the best version of themselves.
Absolutely. Dr. Porter, we're going to just do a quick segment of the Who You With so that we can engage with our audience, and we'll be right back to you, okay? It's
Yes.
time for the Who You With segment of the show. So drop your temples and courts in the chat pane and let us give you a shout out. All right. Good morning. We have Veronica Sawyer out of the Oasis of Winston-Salem, Desert of North Carolina. Daughter Sawyer, thank you so much for tuning in. We have daughter Allison Bryant. She is the deputy for the Desert of South Carolina, proud member of Al-Barkar Court number 168. Thank you for tuning in. We have daughter Girly. Hey, Sister Girly. Thank you for tuning in. She is out of Ossipity Court number 186, Oasis of Valdosta, Desert of Georgia. Thank you for tuning in. We have from the Oasis of Alexandria, Desert of Louisiana, Jacque Court number 158. Thank you, daughter Davis, for tuning in. Good morning, daughter Brown Vic. She is representing the great state of Oklahoma, Alarif Court number 69. Who you with? I like that. We have daughter Haywood. Good morning, daughter Haywood. She's out of Al-Azhar Court number 181. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, daughter Diamond. She is out of Alaf Court number 218. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, daughter Pugh. She is out of the Desert of Tennessee, Mula Court number 22. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning, daughter Jellison. Daughter Bubbles, Al-Katif Court number 115. She's out of the Oasis of Galveston, Desert of Texas. Thank you for tuning in. Back to you, Dr. Porter. We want you to enlighten us this morning. So, what do you feel is the importance of our people of color, seeking help for barriers in relationships?
Well, we must understand that we have been socially engineered to be dysfunctional in our relationship toward each other. And we can trace that all the way back to our captivity in chattel slavery, which was like no other slavery. And a lot of people do not like to deal with that or address that, but it's very paramount into understanding some of the psychosis and some of the cultural things that we adhere to today. So it's very important that we understand that there is a social engineering that has taken place with us. And so we deal with each other many times through these dysfunctional lenses. In other words, there's a lack of distrust. Many times we have been hurt, and hurt people hurt other people. And so a lot of times we go into different relationships with a lot of baggage, with a lot of trauma, with a lot of hurt, and a lot of pain. And because we do not seek the proper help, or we use self-coping mechanisms to try to deal with this pain, a lot of times all we do is project the pain in a different way. And then what we do is we cycle or recycle that type of pain. And then now you see it affecting our relationships and the dynamics that we have with our significant other, our mother, our father, our siblings. This is the dynamics that you see. So it's very important that we seek proper counsel, that we do not just use self-coping mechanisms to deal with our issues, nor can you just shout it out or religious it out. A lot of times we have different traumas and psychosis that have come not only through slavery, but also through the paradigm of Black codes, also through the paradigm of segregation, also through the paradigm of social engineering, sustained institutional racism, and all the other different systems. So you have an outside a system that is geared toward the dysfunctionality of us having healthy relationships. But then you also have the inward trauma that we suffer that also contribute to the dysfunctionality of our relationship. So it's very important that we get healing, because many times we do not go in it with a healthy mindset.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So when you don't get the necessary help that you need, it manifests in so many different areas. So thank you for sharing that. I know in your bio, you mentioned that there are 3 types of PTSD. Can you share that? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. Many of us, if not all of us, we all do. We suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, which is more common. People understand that post-traumatic slave disorder, which a lot of people have not heard of. And then we suffer from post-traumatic relationship disorder. Post-traumatic, of course, stress disorder is a disorder or a trauma that can happen individually. In other words, it can be a one-time act, and then it causes a particular type of trauma. It's like a shock. And then you have post-traumatic slave disorder, which is more intrinsic. It's epigenetic. In other words, it follows through the bloodline. In other words, the things that we experience, that our ancestors experienced, that follows through our bloodline, not only through what we call epigenetics, but also through social learning theory, meaning some of the habits, some of the so-called culture that we say that is Black culture. A lot of that is social learning theory. And so that's been passed down to us throughout the eons of the ages. And that is something that we have to explore. Then there's post-traumatic relationship disorder. Many people are suffering and struggling from relationships, and they're traumatized from the bad relationship they've been in.
Okay, so are they interconnected, the three types of PTSD, or are they segmented?
They're related, actually. All of them kind of hold hands and leap together. So they are interconnected. It just depends on what level. And a lot of times it can be subtle, it can be moderate, it can be extreme. And so it just depends on your background, it depends on what you have experienced. But we all suffer from these things. Everything is a relationship. And many of us have been in all types of relationships all of our lives. And many of them have been dysfunctional. And so what you're seeing now is a person, if you have not gotten help, if you've not gotten the proper help to deal with these things, basically we'll project that negativity, we'll project those hurts, those pains onto someone else. And a lot of times it sabotages future relationships or us having healthy relationships.
Yes. So what are some of the things that you're doing in the community to raise awareness about mental well-being?
Well, getting on platforms like this is one way that I do it. I also do a lot of speaking engagements. I open myself up and for free a lot of times to go around and to speak. I have a podcast, a national podcast that I'm on, Blind City, the podcast. I have a show called Ask the Doctor, where I allow people to call in and ask questions of all types so that they can, get an understanding of what's going on. Because a lot of times people don't really understand what's happening. We've learned to normalize dysfunctionality. And so many times what we think is normal is not normal, it's dysfunctional. And that's why you see our society and our families, our Black families going down the way that they have, and our children, you see them acting and displaying behavior the way that they are, because there's been a breakdown of the family. And that starts directly with the relationship between the Black man and the Black woman, which is dysfunctional for the most part. And so we have to heal, because if we're going to come together as a people and do anything significant, it first starts with healing the mind, healing us mentally and emotionally.
Okay, so what are some tools and resources that you can point the L.O.T.U.S audience to, or people in the community that may want more information on healing or getting the appropriate help that they need?
Well, I would say to seek out someone like myself, that can talk, someone that looks like you. No disrespect to anyone else, but our issues are disparate than other ethnicities in this diaspora. Our situation and circumstances are very unique in this Western hemisphere. So I would say seek out someone like myself that you can sit down and talk to. You can always go online. There's information all around us. Talk to people who are positive, that will add to your life and not take from your life. But I would seek resources of that sort. Anything that's positive, books, get online, do your research, or just seek out someone like myself that can give you valuable information and also can give you proper counsel and direction.
I like that, viable information. That's critical. It's time for the Who You With segment of the show again. So please drop those temples and courts in the chat pane and let us give you a shout out. Don't forget, drop those questions in the chat pane for Dr. Porter also. Good morning, Noble Newsom. He is out of Mula Temple number 54. Who you with? right. Thanks for calling in. We have Noble Rutledge. He is from the desert of Florida, Deputy of the Desert. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Deputy for the Desert, Colette Hart Wallace, 117. Thank you. We appreciate your support. We have daughter Emma. She's out of Thebes, court number 191, Oasis of Nuremberg, Desert of Western Europe. Thank you for tuning in. We have daughter Shropshire. Greetings. She's out of Moolah court number 22. Who you with? Thank you for your support. We have daughter Lloyd. She is out of Arabia court number 21, Oasis of Chicago, and Desert of Eleanor, Arabic court number 21. Thank you for tuning in. We have daughter Lee. She is out of the Oasis of Willingboro, Desert of Delaware. Thank you for tuning in, daughter Lee. We have daughter Brenda. She is out of the Oasis of Freeport, Desert of the Bahamas. Daughter Brenda, thank you for tuning in. We have daughter Lee again. She's out of Sukhum Court number 64, Oasis of Willingboro, Desert of Delaware. Sukhum Court, thank you for tuning in. Dr. Porter, you're doing some amazing things in your community. Can you share a little bit about your mentorship program?
Yes, we have a Heal the Child program because Marcus Garvey talked about focusing on healing the children. Sometimes when a person is older, it's hard to get someone to change their thinking and their approach to certain things. We can get very stuck in our own ways. So it's very important that we approach and get the child at a young age and begin to put them in the right direction. So we have something called Heal the Child program where we offer and provide free counseling services for not only the children that may be struggling in school, having difficulty emotionally and psychologically through the things that affect their life socially. And we also provide the free counseling for their parents as well who cannot afford insurance and do not have the income to be able to provide that help. So we do that. We partner with the YMCA as well. I do so that we provide counseling because you can be physically fit, but if you're not mentally fit, it'll affect your physical, and that's what we're trying to do. And we do that with adults as well. My whole job, like I said, my whole mission is to provide healing. Many times we do not know how bad off that we are because we've learned to make to normalize dysfunctionality. But when we're arguing all the time, being divisive toward each other, self-centeredness, selfish, envy, jealousy, all of these types of things that we experience even in our organizations, we have to understand that that's not normal. There is a problem there. So we suffer from a lot of issues, and a lot of times we have to get past our ego in order to be able to say, okay, there is a problem here. This is not normal. So I believe if the Black man, the Black woman can get past their ego, then we can begin to kind of heal. But those are some of the things I'm doing.
I totally agree. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And the more we promote that, I think the better off we all will be. I have a question about your passion. Your passion for your work, does it connect to your personal life?
Oh, yes, it definitely does. Because I believe you have to walk what you talk. It's important also that I keep my mental health in order. I have someone that I talk to as well. I seek out information. I do meditation. I make sure that I try to exercise regularly, watch my health, and stay away from negativity. I think what's important is that we do our best to put out anything that's negative in our lives. There's so many toxic people in the world, so many toxic things in life, period. So it's very important that we have an atmosphere that's positive, an atmosphere, and surround ourselves with individuals and with people, even in your own home, that supports and encourages the positive. This is very important. And a lot of times we base things on superficial values, but it's very important to keep individuals around you that are positive, that are helping your cause and not hurting your cause. So these are certain things that I try to do. It's not always easy, but it's necessary if you're going to be mentally healthy as well as physically healthy.
Okay. I have a question, and it's going back to the PTSD. You know, a lot of times when people want to get help because of the negative stigmas attached to mental health, a lot of time people use avoidance as a way to deal with it. So what are some of the things that you can share with our viewers about the stigmas and getting the help that you need and going and thinking beyond that?
Well, I'm happy. I believe that nowadays that people are becoming more aware of that mental health doesn't mean that you're crazy. We all suffer from some type of psychological trauma. That's part of life. Even in the scripture teaches us there's wisdom in many counselors, there's success among many counselors. And so it's important that we do seek counsel, that we get an understanding, because it's hard to migrate through all the minutia of the things that we have to deal with on a regular basis. Not only just normal stressors in life, but then also just being Black in America and suffering all the traumas that we are suffering, from police brutality to racism, as I stated before, to injustice, to being marginalized, economic castration, miseducation, all of the things that we suffer beyond just life itself. It's very important to remove these stigmas, because we've tried to handle them ourselves, use different type of coping mechanisms, but these things have not worked. They come out in anger, they come out in frustration, they come out in anxiety, they come out in all other types of ways that are negative and not conducive to a healthy life. So we must remove these stigmatisms that, oh, you're crazy, or that's for people who are weak. No, that's for people who are strong. And we have to remove the stigma also that you can just go to church and pray. That's fine, do that, but also seek mental health.
Absolutely. It's going to require a little bit more than prayer. Prayer doesn't answer things, but it does require a little more. Now, I have a question. I know you're doing a lot of great things in your community and in the shrine. And what are you doing to extend your brand on a broader scale? So what are some of the things you're doing to extend your brand?
Well, I'm in a documentary right now called Vanishing Kings, the remix. And so we're working on getting that put on the streaming networks as we speak right now. It's been a year. It's been a year that I did it, over a year ago. So we're doing those things, as I said, being on these platforms, doing speaking engagements all over the country, writing 2 books right now. I'm writing 2 books. One's called Power. The other one is called A Woman's Worth. And so those are just a few of the things that I'm doing. I work with social media, so I'm going to start being more visible on IG and on Facebook as well, to reach out to people, to help let them know that, hey, there is someone here who can help you.
Okay. On a lighter note, you've enlightened us this morning. I want to thank you for sharing. But on a lighter note, you're a very busy person. So what do you do for fun? Do you have any hobbies? Are you Greek? What are some of the things that you do? Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I am Greek. I'm a part of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. We do a lot of charitable work, do a lot of giveaways, scholarship giveaways to youth that are going into college. We do a lot of work in the community to feed the homeless. We go into the shelters. But for fun, I love to cook, actually. I love to cook. I don't know how good I cook, but I love to try to cook. One day I want to be one of those barbecue people, the pit barbecue. I want to do that. I love playing basketball. I love to work out. I love to read. I love a good stogie, and a good drink, and having a good time and fun, being around good people. So those are just a few things I like to do for fun.
Not a problem. I know you mentioned you like to play basketball. Do you have any game? That's the question.
Oh, I got much game. In fact, I almost went pro. So I played in college. I played all through college. I was All-American. So, yeah, I got a lot of game.
Okay, not a problem. Well, I'm checking now to see if we have any questions from our audience. You've been so thorough. And right now we don't have any questions coming in. So please drop your questions in the chat pane for Dr. Porter. He is definitely enlightening us this morning. Well, so now we're going to look at some of the comments. Since we don't have any questions, we're going to just look at some of the comments that are coming in. Okay, we have a comment coming in from YouTube. Please let us know when your books with an S drops.
Okay, will do.
Absolutely. Okay, Blue-Fi.
Blue-Fi, that's Go Mob. That's my Sigma.
Okay, I was like, Blue-Fi. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, while we waiting on you all to drop some questions in the chat pane for Dr. Porter, we're going to do another Who You With segment of the show. So drop those temples and courts. We're going to kick it off with you when we come back, Dr. Porter. I'm going to let you give your temple a shout out.
Okay.
Bounce with me. Come on. On you. Your temple.
Oh, Medinah Temple, number 39. Shout out to you.
All right. That's the Oasis of St. Louis, Desert of Missouri. Good morning from Daughter Smith. She's the deputy for the Desert of Keebler Court, number 57, Oasis of Knoxville, Desert of Tennessee. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, we got daughter Andrew. She's out of Massab Court, Oasis of Macon, Desert of Georgia. Thank you for tuning in. We have daughter Cook. Good morning, nobles and daughters. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. We have daughter May Pringle. Good morning. She's from Alizar Court, number 181, Oasis of Huntsville, Desert of Alabama. Thank you for tuning in. We have honorary past Imperial Commanderess Sharon Kane. She's out of Mecca Court number 2. Thank you for tuning in. We have Noble Christopher Bradley. He's out of Moolah. Honorary past Imperial Potentate. Thank you for tuning in. We have daughter Edmund. She is tuning in from the Oasis of Hopkinsville, Desert of Kentucky. Thank you for tuning in. We have Deputy Dwight Smith out of Moolah Temple number 54, Oasis of Memphis, Desert of Tennessee. Way to represent Moolah. We have Nober Davison. He is out of P.I. Temple number 16. He's out of the Oasis of Birmingham, Desert of Alabama. That's our last one. Well, we're checking to see if we have any questions. We still don't. At this time, we're going to run some comments. Okay, I'm getting some comments. Okay, Dr. Porter, how do you decompress or reset mentally?
I like to meditate, me personally, meditation, positive affirmation, also being quiet, using breathing techniques. As I said, doing positive affirmations, sometimes just taking time to yourself, cutting everything off, putting everything away, and then doing something that's fun, that you enjoy to do is very important. And also doing something for yourself. Always reward yourself with something. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be something small, but just to reward yourself with something. Those are just a few of the things. And of course, I like to exercise. That's part of my therapeutic way to deal with stress as well, is to exercise. So those are a few of the things that I like to do.
Thanks for sharing that. We have a question coming in from our audience, Dr. Porter. It is coming from YouTube, daughter Brown Vic. What would you suggest for children struggling in school, but parents won't address behavior? What is a good source for educators?
A good source for educators basically would be to find information that can contribute to the issues that you may be experiencing with the child, something, or seek someone out like myself that can give you information on how to deal with the behavior, to decrease bad behavior and to increase good behavior, to deal with the antecedents and the triggers that plague the child. And fortunately, we have a lot of parents who don't understand, as I said earlier, the significance of getting proper counsel, because a lot of them are dealing with so many issues themselves. And unfortunately, the child becomes the benefactor of this negativity, and they're acting it out in school. So for those who are educators and teachers, just try to reach out to individuals who understand these type of things, and then get proper advice from them and seek out other books and resources that will help with that.
Thank you for that information, Dr. Porter. What college or university did you attend?
I attended the University of Arkansas. I got my bachelor's there. Then I attended the University of Missouri St. Louis, and I got my doctorate there. And I attended the Divine Connection School of Ministry, which is an offshoot of St. Louis University College, and I got a theological doctorate there.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that information. Do you have any final thoughts for the L.O.T.U.S audience?
Yes, I just want to say that when we're dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, it carries on many different avenues, especially for those who are in military and that have been in the military. You have a lot of stressors and a lot of different things that can remind you of the different types of traumas that you may have experienced overseas. And so those around you must understand the different triggers, because a lot of times people around you may not understand exactly what you're going through. So it's very important that you seek proper help, that you surround yourself with people who do understand your different triggers, because sometimes when people do not understand what you're dealing with or going through, and this bodes well also for just individuals, period. But when you have people around you that don't understand, they can brush it off, they can give you bad advice, they can just tell you to use certain methods that are not comprehensive or that are not good to use with your circumstance and situation. So it's very important that you put things around you that help and assist you in your healing process. Make sure that you do that, because our organizations are suffering right now. A lot of people deal with DID, dissociative identity disorder, and they've made certain things, they've taken on different personalities and made their organization their personality. So we have to understand that we have to have our own personality. We have to have our own identity beside other things, because that's another coping mechanism, is to disassociate from things, to move or escape from certain things. But what we want to do is seek real healing so we can have real relationship and real good organizations.
Outstanding. I like those closing remarks. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, Dr. Porter, how would they go about reaching out to you?
They can call me. My number, I have two numbers. My number for St. Louis is 314-680-0077. For those in Illinois, it's 618-709-2375. My email address is drraporter@gmail.com. That's Dr. R.A. Porter @gmail.com.
Okay. We will throw that out on the link. So if anyone did not capture that, when we post the replay, we will have that information posted as well. Dr. Porter, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of L.O.T.U.S. We have enjoyed our interaction. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you all for your interaction. Today's episode, again, was brought to you by the 2021 128th Imperial Session. This year is going to be in the City of Brotherly Love. If you've not registered, there is still time to do so. Please check the Prince Hall Shriners Facebook page for the most current information about session. And also, please remember that the testimonial for the 44th Imperial Potentate will be August the 13th and 14th. Registration for that is going on. Friday night, there will be an all-white party from 7 to 10. There also will be a formal gathering on that Saturday from 3 to 6. Registration is $150. Thank you. If you're interested in being spotlighted, please send your bio into PR@aeaonms.org. L.O.T.U.S will be airing live during Imperial Session, so stay tuned for more information. I want to thank the L.O.T.U.S production team and the Imperial Media Relations team for their support. If you have any questions for the Imperial Media Relations team, please send your questions into PR@aeaonms.org. Again, thank you for tuning in, and until next time, peace, love, and stay safe.